Every spring, something unusual happens in forests across the eastern United States. People leave the cities, drive into the mountains, and walk deep into the woods, looking for a plant that grows for only a few weeks. When they find it, the entire forest smells like garlic. This plant is called ramps, a kind of wild garlic that has become one of the most famous seasonal foods in North America. Some chefs treat it like a delicacy, and many foragers wait all year for this short harvest season. In this video, we'll explore what ramps are, where they grow, how to identify them, and why so many people are obsessed with this wild plant. Ramps are a wild plant that grows naturally in the forests of eastern North America. Their scientific name is Allium tricoccum, and they belong to the same plant family as onions, garlic, and leeks. Because of their strong smell and flavor, ramps are often called American wild garlic or wild leeks. For many people in the United States and Canada, ramps are one of the first edible plants that appear in spring. After the long winter, these green leaves emerge from the forest floor, often forming small patches in moist, shady woodlands. The plant usually has two broad green leaves that grow from a reddish stem and a small white bulb hidden in the soil. When you crush the leaves or the bulb, they release a strong, garlic-like aroma. This smell is one of the easiest ways to recognize the plant in the wild. Ramps grow mainly in rich, deciduous forests, especially in areas with maple, beech, and other hardwood trees. Because they grow slowly and take several years to mature, they are considered a seasonal delicacy. Their short season and distinctive flavor are the reasons why foragers, chefs, and food lovers across North America eagerly wait for the brief moment each spring when ramps finally appear again. If you're interested in natural healing methods, medicinal herbs, health tips, and fascinating insights from a family doctor's practice, I'd be happy if you subscribe to my channel, like the video, and activate the notification bell. That way you'll always stay up to date and support my work. Thank you very much. Ramps grow mainly in the eastern parts of North America, especially in the Appalachian Mountains and surrounding regions. They can be found from Canada down through parts of the eastern United States, including states like West Virginia, North Carolina, Tennessee, Pennsylvania, and New York. These plants prefer cool, shady forests where the soil is rich and moist. Most often they grow in deciduous forests under trees such as maple, beech, and oak. In early spring, before the trees develop their full canopy of leaves, enough sunlight reaches the forest floor for ramps to grow quickly. This short window of light is one reason why ramps appear only for a few weeks each year. During this brief season, the plants produce their green leaves, which are the part most commonly harvested and eaten. Later in the year, the leaves disappear, and the plant survives underground as a bulb. Ramps tend to grow in small clusters or patches rather than scattered individually across the forest. Experienced foragers often return to the same locations every year because these patches can persist for many seasons. However, because ramps grow slowly and may take several years to mature, sustainable harvesting is important. Taking only a small portion of plants from each patch helps ensure that the population can continue growing in the same forest for many years. One of the most important skills for anyone interested in foraging ramps is learning how to identify the plant correctly. Ramps have several features that make them easier to recognize once you know what to look for. The plant usually produces two broad, smooth green leaves that grow from a reddish or purplish stem near the base. These leaves are soft, slightly shiny, and often about 6 to 12 inches long. Under the soil sits a small white bulb that looks a little like a young spring onion. One of the most reliable identification clues is the smell. When you gently crush a leaf between your fingers, ramps release a strong garlic-like aroma. This scent is typical for plants in the Allium family and is one of the easiest ways to confirm that you have found wild garlic. The leaves grow directly from the bulb and appear early in spring, often when the forest floor is still covered with last year's fallen leaves. Because ramps grow in patches, it is common to find several plants close together in the same spot. Experienced foragers often say that once you recognize the first plant, you start seeing many more around it. Careful observation of the leaves, stem color, and the characteristic garlic smell can help beginners become confident in identifying ramps in the wild. When people search for ramps in the forest, one of the most important things to know is that a few other plants can look similar at first glance. The most commonly mentioned lookalike is lily of the valley, a plant that grows in some of the same woodland habitats. While lily of the valley has attractive leaves and white bell-shaped flowers later in the season, it is considered toxic and should never be eaten. Another plant sometimes confused with ramps is false hellebore, which can grow in damp forest areas and has large green leaves that may resemble edible plants to beginners. Because of these similarities, careful identification is essential when foraging wild plants. One of the simplest ways to distinguish ramps from most lookalikes is the smell. True ramps always have a strong onion or garlic aroma when a leaf is gently crushed. Plants that do not smell like garlic are not ramps. Foragers also look at how the leaves grow from the base of the plant and whether a small bulb is present in the soil. Taking time to examine each plant carefully helps avoid mistakes. Many experienced foragers recommend learning from knowledgeable guides or joining a local foraging walk before collecting wild plants on your own. Understanding these differences helps ensure that the experience of finding ramps in the forest remains both enjoyable and safe. One reason ramps have become so popular in recent years is their unique flavor and their reputation as a seasonal delicacy. In many parts of the United States, chefs and food lovers eagerly wait for the short period in spring when ramps become available. Their taste is often described as a combination of garlic, onion, and fresh green vegetables, with a strong but pleasant aroma. Because the season is so short, many restaurants highlight ramps on their menus as a special ingredient. They can be used in a wide variety of dishes, from simple scrambled eggs and pasta to soups, risottos, and grilled vegetables. Some people chop the leaves into butter or pesto, while others lightly sauté the bulbs and stems to bring out their flavor. In regions of the Appalachian Mountains, ramps are such an important part of local food culture that entire festivals are organized around the spring harvest. These events celebrate the plant with traditional recipes, music, and community gatherings. For many people, eating ramps is not only about the flavor, but also about the connection to seasonal foods and local traditions. The excitement around this short harvest season has helped ramps become one of the most talked about wild foods in North America. Besides their culinary popularity, ramps also contain several nutrients and plant compounds that make them interesting from a health perspective. Like other members of the onion and garlic family, ramps contain sulfur-based compounds that give the plant its characteristic smell and flavor. Similar compounds found in garlic have been studied for their potential effects on cardiovascular health and metabolism. Ramps also provide vitamins such as vitamin A and vitamin C, along with small amounts of minerals and antioxidants that support normal cellular functions in the body. Because they appear early in spring, ramps were traditionally valued as one of the first fresh green foods available after winter. Historically, many cultures appreciated early spring plants because they helped diversify the diet after months of preserved foods. While ramps should not be considered a medical treatment, they can be part of a healthy and varied diet that includes fresh vegetables and seasonal ingredients. As with any wild plant, moderation and proper identification are important. Sustainable harvesting is also becoming an important topic because ramps grow slowly and may take several years to fully mature. Harvesting only part of a patch and leaving enough plants behind helps protect these populations so that future generations can continue to enjoy this unique wild garlic each spring. Because ramps have become so popular in recent years, many people are now discussing how to harvest them responsibly. Unlike some fast-growing plants, ramps develop slowly and may take several years before a young plant becomes mature. If entire plants are removed from the soil, including the bulb, the patch may need a long time to recover. For this reason, some experienced foragers recommend harvesting only a small portion of plants from each patch or collecting just one leaf from a plant instead of removing the whole bulb. This approach allows the plant to continue growing and producing new leaves in the following seasons. Sustainable harvesting is especially important in areas where ramps have become very popular among chefs and food enthusiasts. In some regions of the Appalachian Mountains, communities have even created local guidelines to help protect wild ramp populations. These guidelines encourage people to harvest carefully and avoid collecting large quantities from a single location. When done responsibly, foraging ramps can be a rewarding way to connect with nature and seasonal food traditions. The brief moment each spring when ramps appear in the forest reminds many people how closely food, nature, and local culture can be connected.